Hello, how are you doing, Laverne? Nice to have you on. Happy Wednesday. I feel like I just did this. All right, just sharing it to one more place. Hmm, How's your day going? Good evening. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. How are you doing today? And what are you drinking? I'm drinking water and some spirits. It's good stuff. Busy with quotes. Gotta love it. What's going on, Arlette? Keishery? I think I said your name right. Lots of people watching me from YouTube. I love that. I love that. I've had this personal goal to monetize my YouTube channel, and that just means that you have to meet all this crazy criteria. They changed it back in 2019, I think it was. You have to have like 4,000 watch hours in a 12-month period. And so back in 2020, I think I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. But then we didn't try hard. I'm really trying hard. So you guys, I appreciate you watching from YouTube. I love my YouTube community. Absolutely love our Facebook community. Um, but I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. I want to, and it's not like when you do monetize in YouTube that you make a lot of money. But that was like, it's always been a personal goal of mine. Like, I want to get 4,000 hours in a year. And so we have done a really good job over the last several months making sure that we expose our community to our YouTube channel. So I am just elated to see those that are watching me live from YouTube and then also those that are watching from Facebook. Welcome. So, in my normal fashion, I've got my piece of paper here and I've got some questions for you because we've got yet again another hot topic. All right, type of one if this is you, type of zero if this is not so much you and this is not something that you do. How many of you have two or more ways to promote your stuff? Yeah, I like YouTube because it does give you notifications. Facebook used to give you notifications, but not so much anymore. So, um, type of one if you have two or more ways to promote your stuff. Zero if you only have one or none ways to promote your stuff. Type of one if you promote more than two times your stuff. So let's say you have a package and you're getting ready to sell fill in the blank destination and you promote it two or more times. Type a one. If you do it or one time only, you put together a post or an email and you're like, I'm going to tell the world about my thing, but you only do it one time, type a zero. If you do it more than one time, I want you to type a one. I think I said that right. All right. Then the other question, my last and final question for you, fine people, is do you think promotions is really just for your paid stuff? When you think of the word promotion, do you think that the only thing that you really should be promoting is your paid stuff? Type of one if you think yes, that's what I think promotion is. Or type of zero if you're like, no, or I probably said that backwards. But yeah, type of one if you think, yes, I promote to do my paid stuff and that's pretty much all I promote for. Type of zero if you're like, no, I promote other stuff than paid things. It's kind of backwards, I know, the numbering system, but all right. So we're getting a lot of mixes of zeros. Okay, this last one, you guys are promoting more than just paid stuff. This is good. That's good to know. All right. So I wrote this quote down. I made up this quote, but I was thinking of it and I thought, I'm going to write this down because I think it should be said. How many of you guys have heard that you should have multiple streams of income? Like, have you guys heard that before? Like, people are always saying you should have multiple streams of income. You should not count on just one way to make money, right? How many of you guys have heard that? Have you guys all heard that? I hear it all the time. I hear it like every day. It seems like that I've got to have multiple ways to make the money, right? Show me the quant. I got to have multiple ways. I got to have multiple offers. Got to have multiple ways. And when I'm saying offers, I'm talking money making offers, right? Specific money generating offers. I have multiple ways to do that. But this quote that I wrote is that you not only need multiple streams of income in your business, in your life, right? You need multiple streams of promoting those offers. And many of you may think to yourselves, oh, well, she means like I need to be on LinkedIn, I got to be on YouTube, TikTok, all these other places. Those are multiple social media platforms. Those are not necessarily multiple ways to promote, right? You could argue that it is, but I'm not saying get on multiple platforms, multiple social media platforms. What I'm saying is that you've got to have multiple ways to position the things that are important to you. And so before I go, let me introduce myself because some of you are new to the channel, new to me, and you don't know me. And so I like to always introduce myself so you know who's speaking to you. I'm going to be speaking to you for the next 30 to 45 minutes. So my name is Sunday Gardner. I am a part of the online Travel Boss School lead I'm not even a co-owner. I guess I am the owner, but I am a co-coach. And so I talk all things launching and operating a successful and profitable travel business. And I come to you weekly here on Wednesdays, pretty much every Wednesday. I try to do it at least 40 times in the year. I'm talking all things operational and profitable things that you need to be doing inside of your travel business so that you can make money consistently inside of that. And so all of the month of April, we have been and will continue to talk about finding and getting clients. And so part of that, I'm just going to do a quick recap of what we've already gone over this month. And so if you've missed it, shame on you. You need to be here on Wednesday. The beginning of the month, we went over how to get clients through people you already know by creating a referral program inside of your travel business. So hopefully you caught that. And then last week, we talked about the idea of a sales funnel and how it's important to have a sales funnel. And really, if you don't already have a huge community of people that know, like, and trust you, that your goal in your travel business should be creating a way to attract strangers to your business. And you do that through a stranger offer. So today's topic is all about, now that you've got a stranger offer, how do you get it in front of people and how can you promote it, right? Because although my last question was a little confusing, the spirit of that question is promotion is not around just promoting things that you sell. If a sales funnel's objective is for you to, create a system for you to, I gave you a formula last week on what a sales funnel is, and I really love the formula. It's promoting your X to get to your why, right? And so what I want you to walk away with tonight is that we are for-profit businesses, right? So the reason we need to promote is so we can make money, right? That is what we do. But you are also for engagement. You are also for relationship building and for awareness. And so as such, that's what promoting does. You promote so that people can become aware of you, they can engage with you, and then also so that you can sell, right? So we're not going to be focused on selling when it comes to strangers. We're going to be focused on engaging with them and making them aware that we are out there in the world. And the way to do that is through creating offers. But I always say, don't create a thing unless you promote a thing, and don't promote a thing unless you track a thing. So we're going to talk about how to promote a thing, right? And so what we're going to talk about are strategies around promoting your stranger offers, your non-sale items, right? And you can apply these strategies for your for sale items, but we're really going to be focused on, like, how do you get the word out there for your offer, your stranger offers that you create, all right? Okay, so what I did is I have all these strategies I wrote down. And I was like, you know what? I need to categorize them because that's what I do. I categorize things. So it came to me that we have three categories of promotion. There is self promotion, which is you, right? Stuff that you're going to do. So we're going to talk about strategies that you can do that's contained in your bubble that you control and you're going to do. And then we're going to talk about promotion through the usage of others, right? And we'll talk about strategies and areas of things that you can do using other people's communities, access, whatever. Then we're going to talk about my favorite, which is paid, right? Because it's like the best of both worlds. All right, so we're going to talk in those three categories, and I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to the middle one is going to be others, and then we're going to end with paid advertising. All right. So first, things that you can do in order to get your travel business, your stranger offer, your offers out there. First thing, in person, virtual type of events, right? Host them. You can host in-person events, or you can host virtual events. And so by virtue of doing that, that event in itself is an offer, right? So let's say you want to start, you really want to build up your Jamaica business, right? And you really want to talk all things Jamaica. Well, you host an event, right? That's you. You are the center of attention of that. You're going to promote that event to the community, people that you know, people that are already affiliated with you, and that's what you're talking about. So that you thing is an event or virtual thing. The other thing about you is that you focus on building a community around you, the brand. Does that make sense, right? You build a YouTube channel, right? You build a social media following. You create a Facebook group. That is you. And inside of those communities, you are promoting your offer. Does that make sense? So the first thing about you is you host an event, you build a community, and it's all about you. So you're not going into other people's community. You're not trying to snag other people's traffic or utilize that. You're growing that yourself. I'm going to give you an example of that. This Facebook group is my community. Nobody controls this community. I set the rules, I set the narrative, I set the content, I set the direction, I accept the people, I define the people. It's me, right? I define the audience of people that I want to hear. This is my community. This is Sunday's community. I don't care who comes into the community, right? It's Sundays. I've built it, right? Same thing that you would do when it comes to what you can do. You create a community around your target audience, right? You build a social media following around your target audience, right? So you see that all the time on YouTube. You see it in TikTok. You see it, right? But when you think about the content that they're creating, we just did a content class yesterday, and that content, one of the biggest things that we talked about in that content was how to identify your target audience, right? And so you build a community around that target audience. You deliver content to them that they're interested. That's a really powerful thing for you to do to be able to successfully promote. And you can attract people into that community with a stranger offer, right? So let's say you built a guide for Jamaica. I think yesterday, one of the examples that we used was somebody is doing solo traveler for busy executives. I think that was the example that we did yesterday. And so you build a community, you build a Facebook group around that target audience. You deliver content. You could run an ad, right? You could offer that guide to that community and then invite them to your community, and then you can continue to nurture and continue the conversation, right? So that's a really powerful thing. Yesterday, we also talked about creating a 30-day plan around your target audience, content marketing, right? Delivering content marketing around your target audience is something that you can do. Now, that's really an offer. That's really not promoting, but you can promote inside of your own email list, that, right? Your own social media channels, your Facebook group, your business page, your personal page. These are all things that you control, right? So when I talk about ways to promote using you, it's you create your own area of promotion. Does that make sense? Like my YouTube channel is an example of that. I mean, I have painstakingly grown that to 3,000 people. We're at 7,000 plus almost 8,000 people in my Facebook community. This is mine. I get to define what goes in here. Same thing for you. So you is a powerful thing. Another type of content marketing that you can do to promote your stranger offer, your other offers, write a blog. Right? Write a blog. The SEO of that blog in and of itself will allow it to be discovered if you do it properly, right? Create a podcast. That's another thing that you can do. We've had a podcast. I haven't published to the podcast in a while, but we have a podcast. We also have had a magazine. The magazine is a great thing to do, again, but that's focused around your target audience. So if your target audience is solo travelers, creating a magazine that you then publish at some cadence that speaks about, and to solo travelers, solo busy high executive travelers, right? And the reasons why they need to get out of town and how getting out of town is important, or whatever that. We talked all about how to create content for them, right? Create your own space, create a blog, a podcast, a YouTube channel that's episodic, that talks about the concerns that your particular audience has. Again, that's your platform, so to speak. So the you type of promotion is building a platform for which you can then promote on. So I remember when I decided to do our magazine some years ago, and we haven't published in like 18 months. And so we are going to start republishing it again. I remember what gave me the inspiration. I was at a luncheon. One of the agents that I partnered with some years ago when I was in Texas, she had a luncheon, and she did a luncheon at an agency that specialized in senior activities. So, and I can't think of the name of it. Celebration. I think that's the name of them. Celebration. And this agency, that's all they do. They specialize in senior travel. And we had we did a guest. I think we were guests of theirs, and they talked to us about their senior program and their tour company and all this other stuff. But their whole specialty is senior travel, the senior, right? All of the senior. And they had this magazine, and it's for seniors, right? So it talks about seniors. They organize group trips for seniors, cruise. They reserve a whole cruise once a year. This is pre-COVID. A whole cruise. And, she was telling me, and I talked to the owner, and she was telling me, anyway, long story short, they had a magazine, and the magazine was slick as hell. Like it was awesome. And I was like, I've always wanted to write for a magazine. That was like my deep, dark desire back in 2019. And I was like, I wonder how I can go write for a magazine. And then I was like, in my sailor voice, I was like, F that, I'm going to make a magazine. I was like, because she told me she made a magazine. And I was like, well, why can't I make a magazine? And I brought it to Jam, who's her birthday was yesterday, or it was a couple of days ago, and I didn't do justice. I'm going to have to celebrate her. We got to celebrate Jam. So she has been with me pretty much since I've started. So I come to Jam and I say, listen, Jam, we're going to do a magazine. And in Jam's fashion, she was like, okay, Sunday, we're going to do it. Let's make it happen. And we released a magazine, and it was fun to create the content. Like I would, put together topics around different things that you guys were interested in, and images and all that. And we did a magazine, and I enjoyed it. And the only reason I stopped doing the magazine wasn't because it wasn't good. It's because I just got sick and I ran out of time, right? And so my point to you is that's mine. That's Sundays. I didn't have to go and find out how I could get published in the magazine. I created it for travel agents, right? And it was fun doing it, and it was well received. Same thing for you. So whoever your audience of people is, create a space for them to connect to you, right? And then you get the opportunity to promote in that space, right? So blog, a podcast, a magazine, a newsletter. Now, newsletters, don't get me wrong. I think newsletters are great, but I think they're kind of cheesy because I don't think people put a lot of thought in. They throw together some stuff and they don't really put a lot of thought into the magazine, into the newsletter, and they sort of just throw it out there and they're not promoting it. So again, if you're going to create a thing, promote the thing. So I want you to sort of understand the nuances of what I'm saying is I'm telling you to create a magazine, right? That you then will need to promote the magazine, but then it also gives you space to promote your stuff in. So don't get me wrong. I loved my magazine. My magazine was well received, but I had real estate all in the magazine to promote my courses, to promote my events, to promote other people. We did spotlights of agents, right? So we really utilize that particular piece of content to do multiple things, to provide value in terms of content, tips, whatever we were doing. And then we also created our own advertising space in the magazine. Does that make sense? Like that's what you can do as well. So if you're going to take the time to do a thing, you're going to need to promote it. So if you do a blog, you're going to have to promote it. But on the blog, you can have space to promote your offers, paid and non-paid, right? So I just want you to think about that. All right. I already talked about Facebook groups and I love Facebook groups. I think Facebook groups are not well done. Generally, they're just not well done because people throw them together and they don't really think about their audience. They think about, oh, I'm going to talk about Vegas. So for example, like, I'm going to put together a Vegas Facebook group and I'm going to invite everybody and their mother in Facebook group. And then you'll tell me, oh, well, I'm not selling anything in my Facebook group, or I only got people who don't want to buy my high dollar tickets. Well, because you didn't think about the audience of people. So anything that you create, I want you to have your target audience in mind. Don't create generic anything. Create specific around an audience of people that has a problem, have problems, have needs, and they can't get themselves out of town, and you're the solution. And that's what you're going to talk about in that space. So Facebook groups are not done well because they're not well thought out of in terms of who the Facebook group is to serve. Most of the time when people create Facebook groups, they're thinking about themselves, not about the audience. And that's the reason why there's no engagement, there's no connection, because the people that are in there are a hodgepodge of multiple people, and there's no real thought about like how and what they can connect on. Travel in it of itself is not enough of a connection to keep people engaged, right? Travel around a theme, travel around a certain type of person where all of those people have something in common is. So if you're going to do a group, remember it needs to be around the people, their problems or their wins or their desires in a way that creates that connection. Does that make sense? Like that's the thing. And you've got to invest in time in promoting it. You can't just throw a bunch of people in there and be like, oh, I got 300 people and that's it. And then you don't spend any time promoting it and growing it, right? Because that's just the way Facebook groups are. Like you got to grow them and you got to keep growing them and you got to keep that sort of engagement. Because sometimes, just like email lists, they can go dead. And if they go dead, then it's kind of hard to resurrect a dead group. It just literally is. The only way to resurrect a dead group is with new people. Like that's just the way the whole Facebook dynamic groups work. All right. So any questions about you in terms of promotion, the types of things that you can do about you or around you, put them in comments and then I'll take a look at them because I know there's a little bit of a delay. So I'm going to go to others now. So now others is where we think, oh, it's going to be great. I'm going to go into somebody else's group and I'm going to promote, and that's going to be awesome. Well, others don't like you doing that. So others don't like you coming into their group, trying to steal their community that they've painstakingly grown and not added value to their group or whatever. So going into other people's group and trying to poach or pooch or whatever that word is, their community members is usually not taken well, right? So When I say others, I mean others in a way that's strategic, right? So that you actually, if I'm going to go in somebody's group, I'm not really, and I think that they have the people that I want. I'm looking for the admin, right? I'm looking for the admin. I'm looking for the rules. I'm going to sit quiet. I'm going to see what the vibe of the group is. I'm going to see how the people are, right? And then I'm just going to watch and see what's going on. Oftentimes when I'm in other people's groups, I'm actually just a fly on the wall to see what kind of problems my ideal client has so I can go solve them in a solution and then promote to them external to the group. That's what I do when I'm in groups. But you can be in other people's groups and, do what you want, but just be very conscientious that it's not as easy as it used to be, I think, to go into other people's group and just like start selling or promoting your offers in their group. So when I talk about others, I'm talking about how can you get on somebody else's blog, right? How can you write for somebody else? If you don't want to write for yourself and somebody has a community of people. So let's use the example of solo travelers. Let's say there is a solo traveler influencer that's out there who has got maybe she is this, she's got a big tribe of solo travelers. Maybe she's not a travel agent. I mean, because that could be the case. She could be like a nomad, a working nomad person, right? I think I've seen a lot of that on Instagram, right? And you were searching and you found that there was a blog for them. Do they take guest bloggers? Could you find out if they could take a guest, like you could write an article for them, right, as a travel advisor, because you uniquely know about destinations that could complement that person's community and write for them. So being a guest speaker as a blogger for somebody is a way for you to promote, because as a part of that, you could promote, listen, I've got this guide on the best destinations for solo travelers, right? That's one way. Another way is being a guest speaker in somebody's podcast. All right. And as a part of that interview, so seeing if you can be interviewed or interview a podcaster, that's another way for you to promote your stuff. Because as a part of that relationship, you'll be able to extend an offer as a part of that conversation. I've guest spoke on other people's blogs, and that's pretty much how it works. You talk about the topic, either they defined it or you have some influence of what the topic will be. And at the end, they ask you, well, how can people get in contact with you? And then you give a gift and you're like, listen, for your community, I am offering fill in the blank, right? That's another way for you to be able to promote your offers. The article guest. So like if you don't want to create your own magazine and there is a magazine, pretty much everything is online, right? So it's not like you got to go to a printer and go and find somebody. I mean, and there could be a situation where somebody is doing a printed magazine. Can you write for that printer? People are always looking for interesting content for people to publish. So is there a magazine either online or that's still being run in print, right? In my city that I came from, Frisco, there was a big magazine. It was called Frisco InStyle, I think. And I think I wrote for them. I don't remember when we had the barbershop. And so every magazine has a editor. And a way that you can you can submit articles for them. You guys are travel advisors, right? So the question you should be asking yourself is who's talking about travel locally in your community, right? News-wise, newspaper-wise, magazine-wise, who's talking about travel? Likelihood, it's nobody, right? They're getting their travel tidbits or information. So offering to be that person, that go-to person to provide content in the travel arena for non-travel content sources is a great partnership that you can create, particularly if you're contacting a group of people that have access to your type of person. Does that make sense? So like what came to mind just now is like if I was doing adventure travel, I mean, maybe adventure travel is not the thing, but golf came to mind just now because I know one of my clients, she specializes in sports travel. And so she's really big into like football and PGA stuff. And I think Masters is coming up in May. And so if I was specializing in golfers or people who were in sports, I would, from this example that I'm giving, is what kind of golf magazines? Are there any local golf magazines? Are there any local golf clubs? How do they communicate with their peeps, right? I specialize in sports travel. I would want to figure out if they do a newsletter or a magazine or some sort of written piece, could I write an article for them? Right. So this is how you can leverage others in your promotion, is partner with somebody. Again, just like the referral program, it needs to be mutually beneficial. People are always looking for content. Even if we've got ChatGPT, not everybody knows about ChatGPT. My goal in life is to make sure that you guys know all about AI, but not everybody knows about AI. People are still struggling to come up with content. So if you go and find the people that are affiliated with the type of client that you want to work with, right? And they already have that following. How can you create content for them, right? Relative to them. And as a part of that, you'll be able to say, okay, for your community of people, I'm going to give you this fill in the blank offer. Does that make sense? That could be a paid offer, right? A package that you designed just for their community that is either specially priced, specially bonuses, whatever that may be. But you can also do content. And then you can be like, I've got this guide that I created just for golfers or the sports community or whatever. And that's how you do that. All right. So partnerships with people that already have your community of people locked down. They already own the community, right? And you create a partnership. That's either through influencers, that's through joint partnerships, that's through content, that's any way you can slice it, but you're utilizing their community. So you're not having to build a community of your own. You're utilizing their community by creating value directly to them, by giving them something that they're looking for, which is content. People are always looking for content. If they're good with their community, they need content. And if you provide them content that's relative to their community that allows you to then also include your offers, that's a win-win there. I've already taught you how to do it, right? So if you need ideas on, like, let's say I am specializing in sports travel, you're specializing whatever your target audience is. Who has your target audience? Who already has access to your target audience? Who are those people? What kind of clubs do exist? What are they publishing? Because they're publishing something. If somebody has got a large audience of people, they're publishing something on some regular cadence. Does that make sense? Yes, I think a relationship therapist would be a great thing. She's like, yes, I do. I think that would be great. I don't know who Campbell is. Like, I just see your name on your YouTube channel, YouTube name. But yes, I think a relationship therapist would be a great partnership. That would be a great pitch. Does she have a podcast? Does she have a newsletter? Does she have a magazine? Maybe not a magazine, but she's like, I will say this. Anybody who has a large community is publishing content on some regular cadence. If you want into that community, then you create content for their community. Ask for a partnership that you do it regularly or on some cadence. And when you do that, include your offers as a part of that. So again, you're looking for real estate. Where can you get real estate to talk about your stuff, right? And so if you create a piece of content, like, again, you've got a way to do that now that's pretty easy. You create a piece of content and then you promote your offer as a part of that, as an ending gift, as a part of the offer. Like at the end, when people say, like, how do you get in contact with me? Oh, my name is Sunday Gardner. You can go to sundaygardner.com, right? And then when they get to sunday.com, right, there's a big old pop-up that says download my guide. That's my free offer right there. Do you know what I mean? Same thing with you. You could even at the end of that conclusion, at that conversation, be like, okay, so for you all, I've got this special fill in the blank, and then that's your offer extension. So again, you're looking for opportunities to talk about your thing after you provide value. Okay. Hey, Latasha, so sorry I didn't recognize your last name. All right. So that's number 2. It's your others, right? So go through others to promote your stuff by being a guest contributor, a guest speaker, speaker, writer, whatever, content provider, or you create some sort of partnership. I love this whole relationship therapist. If you specialize in couples vacation, that is a natural partnership right there, on so many levels I see, right? So however she's communicating, like Latasha, I could go on, like I literally could go on and on to the break of dawn in terms of ways that you can create relationship with that therapist. You can create, if she's a relationship therapist, create a retreat for that therapist, pitch a retreat idea for that therapist that she does a couples retreat to an exotic place. You manage that whole retreat. Like there's just so many different ideas that I've got there. All right. So number 3 is paid ways, right? So this is you create the communities, you create the means by which to connect with people, right? Number 2 is others. You are connecting with other people's communities and ways to connect based on their communication paths. And then paid is my favorite, because even though it costs something, it's less work for me. It costs money, but it's less work because I don't have to ask permission. I don't have to figure it out. The only thing I have to figure out is know my audience. Like that's all I need to know is I need to know my audience. I got to create an offer, and then I go target them, and then I put my offer in front of them. So it's direct. There's no stickiness to that. There's no barrier to doing ads, right? The only barrier maybe is if you don't know how to do it. But other than that, once you learn how to do it, there's no barrier. Every day of the week, I can create a new offer and I can go test to see if it's going to fly or not. I don't have to wait. I don't have to think about it. I just put it together. I push go. I wait for the powers to be to approve it, and then it goes. So paid advertising is it's the most complicated, but the quickest to market to me, and the quickest results. So I obviously have a bias to ads because I know how to run them, right? So I do recognize that there is a learning curve. So there's a lot of reasons why I don't say paid advertising is where you should start, because first of all, if you don't know if your offer is going to do well, I think you should test out your offer with some of these strategies, see how it does before you invest in paid ads. But I'm going to talk about paid ads as a strategy just because it's effective, period. It's very, it's effective. So the other so let's talk a little bit about like different strategies within paid. So for paid ads, you can do ads direct to a guide, a blog, inviting somebody to an event, inviting somebody to read your blog, read your article, right? And that traffic is something that you can track, and then you can retarget them for future offers. You can invite those people to a group, get the group members in, and then you can continue the relationship, right? Whatever you're doing in paid ads, it can be a direct path, and you can directly go from strangers to any type of offer, right? Like I said, you can go to a blog, you can go to an invite to an event, you can go, stranger to read this article, you can go stranger to watch my video, you can go stranger to join my Facebook group. All of those would be direct connect type of ads, right? The ad type is also called a conversion ad. And you can do those every day, all day long. Those are easy to do. Now, stranger ads, I absolutely think if you're going to do a stranger type of ad, it needs to be a non-monetary ad or a very low dollar monetary ad. Low dollar would be anything less than $20 is usually considered low dollar. I usually try to stay lower than $10 if I'm doing a stranger ad. And so you can be like, stranger, buy my $5 thing, stranger, buy my $7 thing, right? Those usually have a very low barrier. It's not a lot of commitment on particularly with inflation, it's not a lot of commitment. Those are easier to create, but that sales funnel that we talked about last week, it's the same thing, right? You got to create an information page that says this is what it is. You got to collect the information, right? You got to collect the thing, right? Either the money or the email address, and then you've got to deliver the thing that you said that you were going to do. Same concept on each one of those things. Again, the reason I like paid is because it's straight to the source. I don't have to guess. There's a little bit of guessing if you don't know how to target, but once you get the targeting down, I don't have to guess if those are my people. I know they're my people, like, right? Because I've tested the targeting. So once I'm done with testing, I know that I've got the audience of people. So if I'm going after, people in their 30s who are not married and they're solo travelers, right? I can microscopically identify those people, put them in a pool, and start to put my ads in front of them, right? So it's very surgical, I think is the right word that I'm thinking of. Surgical in the way that you can identify who you want your target, test to see if it's being well received, and make decisions quicker. Some of these other things take a little bit longer for you to evaluate the results of what you've done. So really, when it comes to promoting, the end of the day, you need to have multiple ways to do this, right? So, and again, I'm not talking about just multiple social media platforms. I'm talking about, you should have a collection of all these types of categories that we talked about. You should have strategic partnerships. You should have paid advertising of some sort. You should have something that you own as a way to communicate and engage with your community, right? So if I had to think about like what would be priority out of all the things that we just talked about tonight, for sure, you need to create your own email list, because that's a low barrier type of thing. It's something that you can do through paid ads organically, but you should have a way to create an email list, like grow your email list, collect emails. That will be forever yours. Like no one can take an email list from you. Like I can't even think of a situation. Even if your email provider goes down, they can't take your email list for you, unless of course you're not backing it up, right? But that's another story for another day. The idea is your email list. That would be my priority. So if you don't have a way to like capture emails, you're not utilizing your emails, that would be the priority. Let's say you're doing that. Then you could go to, let's say you've got an email list and you're working that email list. You've got an email marketing plan and you're sending out content through your email list, right? That would be the first thing I would be doing, is I would have a cadence on how I promote my stranger offer to my email list, right? So if I have a stranger list and it's a guide on, the best destinations, I'd refresh that guide maybe twice a year or once a year, right? I'd send it out at the beginning of the year. I'd be collecting all through the year, and then I would send it out again and I would promote it. If I had a Facebook group, right, I think that would be the next easiest thing. Facebook groups are not easy. So let me not say easy, because I don't think Facebook groups are easy. They're not. They're laborious. They're laborious to maintain. They're very rewarding because it's a very direct connection with your client base if you're doing it well, but they do take time. And the thing is that all things take, like, no, there is no magic pill. I was just talking to a friend of mine earlier, is like, you're never gonna hear me say that all you need to do is this one thing and that's it. Like that's the magic. There's no magic. I'm never going to tell you that this is it. Like this is the one thing that you got to do. So if you're looking for a magic solution, there is none. I'm here to tell you, there's no magic pill. There's not some magic promotion strategy that I'm going to give you that's going to like make you $1 million. That does not exist. There is, the people that make good money at this have multiple ways that they communicate with their client base. They have multiple ways that they get new clients in their business, right? And they work. That's end of the story. There's no quick rich way to do this. There's no expedited way to do this. It's not that it's hard, but there's just no quickness. Quickness is not the right word that I'm looking for. There's no magic. There's no magic. It is consistency. It is strategy, and it's consistency. It's more consistency. Like it's consistency. Whatever you do, whatever's not working, Be big enough to say it's not working, get out of your feelings and do something differently. Try something else, right? And have a thick skin. Like that would be my advice for you tonight. Like have a thick skin, like internally, like, cause you have to have the intestinal fortitude to get through getting this stuff set up, showing up when you don't think it's working, and just keep pushing through. Because if this is your passion and this is the thing that you know that you're meant to do, then by golly, do it, right? And there's going to be stuff that's going to throw you off. There's going to be stuff that you don't know. There's going to be hiccups and all of that. Push through it. Like that's what I want you to like walk up and be like, I'm going to push through it. Like, I'm going to push through it. I'm going to push through the technology. I'm going to push through the fact that, you know, I did a live and nobody showed up. I'm going to push through that, and I'm going to keep showing up, and I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep trying to connect, because that's your objective. Connect. That's what promotion is about, is figuring out how you can connect more with the person that you want to connect to. Does that make sense? So if you're doing stuff and it's not connecting, then it's you. Like, it's not them. It's not people don't want to. It's you. You've got to figure out how to change the messaging so that it will connect. Does that make sense? Like, that would be my, that is what I want to end with. So like, promotion is all about creating ways for you to get your why in front of the people that you want to do. Like, whatever that thing is, whatever the why is, right? That offer, the stranger offer, your package, your whatever. Promoting is about, how do I get it in front of more people? How do I get more people to say, look at it? How do I get more people to raise their hand? How do I get more people to buy? How do I get, that's what you should be constantly thinking. How can I do that? And how can I affiliate myself with more people that either are my people or know my people? Like, that's what your whole promotion strategy should be about. How do I get more of my people knowing my name, or get in front of the people that I want knowing my name who know my people? Like, that's it. Like, that's all that I could say. All right, so I'm going to open it up for questions, and then I'm going to skedaddle out of here. So Jade, absolutely push through. That's my message. This year's word that I have not been using nearly enough. I remembered I watched a video the other day of my beginning year video, and I remembered that this year's word is warrior, travel warrior. Like, came to me in my sleep one day, like right at the end of the last year, and I'm not using it near enough. So we are travel warriors. And the reason why I picked warrior, because I think I was in my head about something, and I woke up and I was like, and I looked at the definition of warrior, and it means like you have the strength to push through despite whatever is standing in your way, right? Whatever that may be. And we are warriors. I know that I'm a warrior. I pushed through a lot of shit. I have pushed through a lot of stuff, physically, mentally, or what have you, to be able to stand here right here, 2023 in April, and be like, I'm here. I'm in it to win it, and I'm in it to win it with you all, around you, about you, and for you. And you got to be there too. What I have learned throughout the years, though, is I can't want it more than you do, right? So you got to want it, and as long as you want it, we're going to get it done. Like, that's my promise to you, is we'll get it done. So listen, if you got any questions, post them. If not, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to go have my evening cocktail. So how'd you guys like tonight? Let me know in comments. I love comments. I love hearts. So let me know. Are you guys going to promote more? Are you going to promote your offers more? How do you guys like the you, others, and paid advertising as promotion strategies? Let me know. I'm going to pause because there's always a bit of a lag. So I'm like waiting for people to comment. I'm like, I guess nobody's going to comment, so bye. And then I see all these comments later. I got to get my, yeah, absolutely, Brenda. I am a big Grant Cardone fan, although he is like, you talk about email marketing. Grant like sends out, I don't know, 5 emails a day. Like, I think he's got a team of emailers that write, like, each of them are responsible for sending out an email a day. Cause I literally get an email. I know I have to count it, but I am positive that I get at least 5 emails from this man a day. And I love him. But I found him several years ago, and he's got this book called The 10X Rule. And I was quoting him like nonstop back in 2018. And what he said in his, what he said in that book was that we underestimate the amount of time or the amount of effort that it takes to do fill in the blank. It doesn't matter what it is. We don't think it's going to take it. That we underestimate the amount of money. We underestimate the amount of time. We underestimate everything when it comes to getting something done. So this whole book is about the fact that you just need to 10x your thought around whatever it is that you're doing. Like if you feel like you're showing up, you probably need to 10x that. Like you need to, like you're not showing up enough. You're not doing enough. So it can be a little bit exhausting when you think of that concept, but it really, like when I'm feeling like a little off my game, I always go back to that thought. Is like, did I like if I didn't make what I wanted to make, I didn't hit my goal, whatever it may be, I always go back and I'm like, did I really do all that I could do? And when I analyze it, the answer is often no, I didn't. I didn't do. I underestimated what it was going to take to do that. I tell you that long story to say that when it comes to if you're going to build a stranger offer, right? What happens is a lot of you will spend a lot of time building it. Now, don't get me wrong. It needs to look good because it is the first thing that somebody is going to see about your brand and your business. So you do need to put some thought into it, right? But you don't need to haggle over the name so much. Like the name is important. All the things and the components are important, right? But the thing that is the most important is that you get it out there. And not only do you get it out there, that you are consistently getting out there, right? So if you talk about it and you know, it's in, you know, maybe you've got a banner and it's on your banner and that's the only thing you do, you're not doing enough to promote it, right? If you're only getting one email from it a week, you're not doing enough. You're not promoting enough, right? That thing that you create, it has got to be generating for you leads, right? That's what its purpose is. That is what its goal is. And if it's not, it's because you're not promoting it enough. Period. End of story. Like you're not promoting it enough. It's not in front of the people that you want. There are 2 billion people a month, every 30 days on Facebook alone. I'm not talking other platforms. I'm just talking Facebook. Facebook alone has 2 billion plus people on the platform every month. And you tell me that you can't get 100 people to see you, right? You're not promoting it. You're not promoting it enough. So if you don't have leads, it's because you're not promoting. Period. You could tell me, oh, I'm promoting. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not promoting it nearly enough. And if you are, that means you don't know who your target audience. If you feel like you know who your target audience, that means you're not in front of them. Right? So I just gave you strategies today on how to get in front of your audience. Either create a forum for your audience, that's you, or you get in front of somebody else's forum through strategic partnerships, or you pay to get in front of your audience, right? So that's really the message today. So let's see what you guys said. Be consistent on promoting. Let me show this. I like this feature that I don't nearly use enough. So my Faye, I think that's how you say your name. It says, be consistent on promoting myself first to get to know the audience, have a travel group, and it's dead since 2020. I think I'm going to close it and work on the profile. Yes. So, you know, I have a thought about closing Facebook groups. Like if you've got people in the group, let's say you got a couple hundred people in the group, should you close the group? I say no. I say grow it. Like change the name, change the images, kick them out if you want. But, you know, a Facebook group that has somebody in it when you're growing it is better than having a Facebook group that has nobody in it. So I'm gonna tell you what I did back in 2020. I've had this Facebook group, I want to say since 2018, I think. I'd have to go look at the number, like when it was started. I back in 2020 got an amazing group coach, like they only specialize in Facebook groups. And I've had a form of Facebook group since 2016. And this group was dead. Like the group that I'm in right now, I mean, my YouTube channel wasn't really doing anything. but the group was dead. I was getting burnt out, and I was like, I think I'm done. Like back in 20, it was like 20. I'll never forget. I hosted a class. I was so frustrated at the end of that class. I was spinning out of control. I was working and I wasn't getting any results and I wasn't doing anything. And we had about 1,000 people in the group in 2020. And this was right because it was May of 2020. And we had about 1,000 people inside of the Facebook group. And they were like, no, they're like, no, don't start over. Just start growing it. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to start over. They're like, don't. So I'm obstinate. And I went and I was like, you know what? I know there are people in the group that don't really listen. They don't engage. And so I took it personal. It's like, they're not engaging. They're not doing this. And so I spent an entire weekend. I kicked 600 people out of the Facebook group. Like I just like kicked them out. I kept 400 people. It's like, if I didn't know them personally, wasn't familiar with their name, I got rid of them out of the Facebook group. So I took my 1,000+ Facebook group, this group that you guys are in right now, and I reduced it to about 400 people. And then all I did was start over. I showed up every week. I started delivering content that spoke to you guys. I mean, every topic was a topic that you guys had either said that you wanted. I mean, I spent a lot of time really re-understanding travel advisors and what they were having pains with, and that's all I did. So I grew the group. I had the group at one size, and then I went it down to 400, and I grew the group back up to now 7,200. Now, how did that group grow? The group grew through paid advertising. Like I've paid to be in front of advisors, same thing. Now, do you want to do that? I don't know. But my point is that I didn't start the group over. I just showed up I started over. I came in the group differently. So that maybe if you guys have Facebook groups and you want, and if there's people in there, those people that are in there, they will either not respond or whatever. Just focus on getting the people that you want and showing up to those people in the way that you need to. That would be my advice to you. All right, so you have to tell me phonetically how to say your name so that I say it properly, because I have a thing about mispronouncing people's name. And so Angela says that you're absolutely welcome. That you want to create a Facebook group. Yep, we haven't done a Facebook group. I actually had a program a couple of years ago, and I taught people how to do Facebook groups. We haven't really done anything with that program in a while. And so if it's something that you guys are interested in, I'll do a poll. Maybe the end of sometime next month, I'll do a poll and see if that's something you guys are interested in. We could probably do some sort of training on Facebook groups. We already have a plan for this quarter, but we could absolutely put it in the mix. I'll see how many people are interested in growing their own travel Facebook group. Are you guys interested in that? Let me know. Mayate, is that right? Mayate? I think so. I think that's so funny. You phonetically put Mayate? Is that did I say it right? Tell me, please. I like to know that I said it right. Mayate. I love that. Yes, I said it right. I love that. Thank you. Beautiful. All right. Yes. All right. I said need to connect with my target audience. All right. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yes. So be consistent. That's the thing that you learned. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate that. Promote more. Yes. So when you think you're doing enough, it's probably not true. So the only way, that's the reason why I say don't create a thing without promoting a thing, don't promote a thing without tracking a thing, because the only way that you really know if you're doing well is if you track it. And so if you're not tracking it, then it's all emotional in terms of if you're doing well. I think I'm doing well. Like, I feel like I'm doing well. I saw a post and I got like 5 likes and I'm doing well. And then maybe that's the only post in 30 days that's done anything. So that's why it's so important to track how often you're promoting and how well the promotions are going. So we'll go over tracking in the near future, but really the message today is promote more. Find multiple ways to promote. And your stranger offer is one of the most important things that you should be having multiple ways to promote. So listen, we are 2 minutes over the hour, and it has been a pleasure talking with you all. Listen, I also had a pleasure. Like, this has been a double header for me this week. So I've been here twice for you guys this week. Listen, if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to post them inside of this thread. And with that, I will see you guys next week. Have a lovely week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.